Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. I know it's been a while, but recently I've been on this, I guess, Asian BL drama watching streak, and I've consumed a lot of Asian BL dramas, and I want to discuss them with people, but in my real life, no one has as much time as me to watch as many stuff that I watch. So I thought I would just share kind of like a quick recap of the things that I saw and see if anyone wants to discuss with me. I have written reviews for all of them, and I'm gonna refer back to the written reviews, which is why I have my iPad here. So let's get started. So the first drama that I will be discussing in this video is Addicted, Sangin. This is a mainland Chinese web series that came out in 2016, and this one started it all for the month of March. What had happened was that on the Chinese news site that I occasionally visit, there was, I guess, breaking news that one of the actors in this web series was getting married in real life. I guess he had been secretly dating this girlfriend for like 4 years, and now they're gonna get happily married, or they are happily married, so congrats to them. And that actor is Timmy Shu Wei Zhou, and I remember him from the variety show Woman the Girl. So I didn't really know of him as like an actor, but I did know of him before as like a singer. And I wasn't really familiar with him or the rest of this cast, honestly. But because of the news of his marriage, this web series started becoming like a trending topic, and I became really curious. I was like, wow, especially now with like the ban, I was like, wow, I wonder what like a contemporary like Chinese BL series would look like, because the ones that I've seen are all the ones set in the xianxia like realm. And so I've obviously seen the one with like Xiao Zhan, I think it was Chen Qingling, and then I saw the one with Gong Jun. Oh my god, why can't I remember? Sanhe something. So yeah, so I've only seen those, so I haven't seen like a contemporary mainland Chinese one. So I decided to give this one like a shot. So this is conveniently on YouTube, and the one on YouTube is like censored. And there is an uncensored one I think you can watch on like WeTV, and then there's also an uncensored one on YouTube, but you have to like use Chinese to find it. So this was actually, I think, a web novel. There's a book 1 and a book 2, and when this came out, like the cast was all relatively like newcomers. The director's a newcomer. They were not expecting this to blow up, and then it did blow up, and honestly, it's pretty provocative if you think about it. There's like some kissing, some like ass grabbing, and you're just like, whoa, I can't believe China let it go that far. But I mean, it did get banned, so they like shut that down, and the series like ended abruptly, which is kind of, you know, sad and disappointing. So there's a heads up for those who are interested in watching this. There is no conclusion, it just ends. Give you a quick synopsis. So in this there are 2 characters. The first one is Gu Hai. Gu Hai is like a rich kid from a military family background. His father gets remarried, and it makes him really unhappy because he feels like his dad might have played a part in his mother's death. And then we have the other person, Bai Luoying. Bai Luoying is like dirt poor, from a dirt poor family with a single father. Mother left the family because she just didn't want to be poor anymore, and is a bit of a social climber, and she ends up getting remarried. And Bai Luoying is like, well, I'm not leaving my dad to be with you just because you married up in life. And the rich kid, Guhai, he ends up like moving out of the house and like transferring to a different school, and there is a classmate that like catches his eye, Bai Ling. And what they don't know is that they are actually, I guess, stepbrothers. So a relationship develops between them, and then the relationship obviously becomes something more because this is romance. And during this time, they don't know that, like, they should be hating each other. But they do like start off like as enemies to lovers because there's like very like intense bullying between the two of them initially. And I feel like that's one of like my favorite romance tropes, and I think that's why this like kind of succeeded in my opinion, is because enemies to lovers, there's just something about like the angst, the lust that's like really good. And then something else that like this drama did really, really well is the chemistry. Like the two leads have such amazing chemistry. Like it's just so stellar. Like you just really feel like the pining for these two characters. There are like low ratings for this drama, and that's something I have to get into. The confession and the initial start of the relationship is, in short, it's kind of non-consensual. It's a little bit forceful and aggressive on Guhai's part. And I can see why a lot of people would be turned off by this. But I have to like, I guess, step on myself a little bit in this situation. I mean, I have issues sometimes when I'm like reading or watching like problematic and like toxic relationships, but I also love like a problematic toxic relationship. I like started reading like Japanese like yaoi at a fairly young age, and those stories back in like the late 90s, early 2000s were super unchecked, super problematic, super toxic, and I feel like my threshold or tolerance for them is a little bit high, which is totally something I should work on. But I can't help it. So I would not recommend this for people who are not into like a bit of like bully romance, a bit of like forcefulness, non-consensual like advances, and people who are not into like problematic and like kind of toxic relationships. However, if you are okay with those things, and you're okay with the fact that this doesn't have a conclusion, I would highly recommend this BL series for you. There are 15 episodes and they just fly by. I was like almost finished in a day, and I only had like a few left, and I could have finished it, but because I was so invested and in love with this couple, and at that time I didn't know that there was no conclusion, I was just like, you know what, let me save it for like the next day because I need to like savor and like have more time to like spend with them. So I did like wait and watch it the next day after work, and I mean, was I disappointed that there was no ending? Yes. Did I later on like read and watch things that explained how the book ended? Yes. So I do know what happens, and let me tell you, like the story becomes really like, what's the word that they like to use? Nia. Like it becomes like really like bitter for them. Like it becomes like a really, really sad and tragic. I am considering thinking of picking up the book. So I'll let you know if I do get to it. I actually have it like opened up. I'm going to try to read the Chinese one to get like the true like, I guess, flavor of it all. I feel like the reason why people who like love Addicted love it for the reasons like I said, like the chemistry is just off the charts. Like even when you watch like the behind the scenes, like the way the actors just interact with each other, you're just like, oh my god, I feel like they probably really do care about each other in real life. But what do we know? Like, they're actors, you know? But that's how it comes off. And so you just feel so invested in their relationship. But it's not even, like, so yes, their, like, relationship is emotional, but there's the whole aspect of, like, growing pains as well. With the situation of growing up poor or growing up rich or, like, having a like a bad relationship with like your family, your parents, like all of that is like explored. So there's a lot of like ups and downs with this show, and I feel like people can relate to that as well, like just like difficult family situations. I feel like mainly what really touched me was just like I loved how the characters fell in love. I felt like they just really fell in love with the other person as who that other person is, and I feel like that was really romantic in a way for me. Like, I'm not saying this like is perfect, right? Like the production quality was not that great. There's like moments where like someone gets punched in the stomach and then they start like having a nosebleed, or like there's a moment where like someone is like talking and they obviously have like headphones or like a headband, I can't remember, and then they like pan to the person that they're talking to and they pan back to this person and they're like either missing the headphones or like missing the headband. So like there's like consistency issues with scenes, and like the production level isn't that like high or great, and there's a lot of like whack ass teachers in this series, which was like, I'm like, is this how like the Chinese education system is? I don't know. But I just feel like this drama just put me through such an emotional roller coaster, and I suffered so much from like withdrawals, and like the thing is that like these two actors, like they can't even be in the same like venue together, like they can't go to events together, like they're like banned. And like even just like watching like really old clips of them, I feel like I just cannot let them go, and to have, or like to be able to like get such a strong like emotional pull, I feel like is so rare for someone like me who just consumes so much media, that like I can't let go of this emotion. And I think they did such a good job with making me feel this way, and it's been so long since I felt this way, this emotional tug and pull to two fictional characters, and just being so invested in their relationship and praying so hard now, like, because obviously I watched it a lot later than like other people did, but now I'm like in the same boat of like praying that like, you know, China will let us have a second season. And I mean, I feel like obviously everyone's goal is like there's a second season with the same characters, but like if another country ever decides to pick up this storyline, I think that would be pretty cool as well. But like I said, please be aware, problematic, toxic, non-consensual, low production, like there's all those things, but just how this made me feel emotionally. There's like a side character or a side couple, like, and they barely get any screen time, and that's really sad too. But like even with all those issues, like just the emotional pull, like I can't give this less than 5 stars, like 5 out of 5. And it's very unreasonable, but like I said, the feelings it gave me were so unreasonable that it deserves this unreasonably high rating from me. And my ratings are all very like just personal, so there's no like right or wrong, it's just how I feel. I wanted to add that after watching Addicted, I like kind of developed a crush on Huang Jingyu. He's like just really good looking. But once I guess I kind of searched up information about him online, there are some like not so good, I guess, rumors about him, even though like he fought them in court. I just kind of feel like a little bit iffy about his character, but that doesn't, you know, change the fact that like I don't know what really happened. Like I said, I'm kind of looking through the written reviews and just trying to recap, even though like I thought the recaps were going to be really short, but I'm talking a lot right now. But I will link the written reviews down below, because I think like, you know, I did a proper job of explaining my thoughts, because when I feel like I'm on camera, it's just me like word vomiting sometimes. The next drama that I watched was actually introduced to me by YouTube. So like after I watched Addicted, this showed up on my feed and I was curious and I saw it and I was like, hey, actually that's actually kind of interesting. Let me see if I can find it online. And I found it online and I started watching it, and it's My Love Mix-Up. It's Japanese, and the Japanese title is Kieta Hatsukoi. So what attracted me to this was the initial premise of the story. I thought it was just so like funny and funky in a way. So we have the main guy. What is his name? Aoki. He likes a female classmate, and he borrows an eraser from that female classmate. And when he opens up like the eraser, like removes the covering, he sees that another classmate's name, Ida, is written on it. And so he thinks like, oh, the girl I have a crush on has a crush on Ida. And when he accidentally drops the eraser, Ida, who sits in front of him, picks it up. And now Ida thinks, oh, Aoki, who sits behind me, might possibly have a crush on me. And so they like go up to the rooftop, and he's trying to explain like, Aoki's trying to explain like, oh, you misunderstood the situation, while Ida's like respectfully and like politely trying to like reject him. And I was just like, oh my god, that's such a funny like concept. I can see why this is called My Love Mix Up. And I decided to give it a try. And so this is based off a manga, and it like really clearly shows signs that it's based off a manga. And I feel like when Japanese dramas are based off a manga, which they are most of the times, but when it's like clearly like this, it's really up to personal preference whether you like it or not, because there is a bit of over exaggeration in the acting, and there is a bit of over exaggeration in the plot. I think for My Love Mix Up, it worked because the humor of it came through. It didn't seem like too extra, too over, in my opinion. But like I said, it is really up to like personal preference to see if that is something you are interested or you can sit through. The main actor, I think he does a great job in his like kind of heroine-ish role. He's like very on point with like the humor and like his awkwardness and his embarrassment in the situation. Like I think he plays it in a way where it is comedic. So I think if you want something like that's a little bit more chill and a little bit more funny, definitely give this one a try. One of the reasons why I think I loved My Love Mix Up so much is the main core group. So we have, you know, Ida, Aoki, the girl crush, Hashimoto, and then Aoki's friend Akun. And the four of them and their dynamic in this, and the way the friends support the main pairing, like it's very heartwarming, and I think they just have like a really great banter and relationship with each other. And then the friendship that develops between Aoki and Hashimoto like is very cute. Like they have such a great friendship, and I just really like seeing that like you know, solid friendship in a campus setting story. The few things I think this drama could have or like lacked was I don't think we get to see enough of Ida. We don't get to see enough of his interaction with his friends either. And I do think this drama doesn't push like hard enough. It just stays kind of like on the surface in a way. But I still had a lot of fun. We do get a second couple, and they are a heterosexual couple, and they are really cute too. Like the way that their relationship develops is very endearing. Honestly, this drama is just very like charming, endearing, and funny and fluffy as well. So I would recommend it if that is something that you are looking for. So with Previously Addicted, I gave it a 5 out of 5. With this one, it was still good, but there were some minor things. Oh, that reminds me, there is one thing about this that really like I was not like understanding. So Ida plays volleyball. He's in the volleyball club, and they have a match with the rival school. The rival school has a cute club manager, and the club manager kind of confesses her feelings to there's the rival school's coach, so Ida's like coach. And I'm so glad that the teacher shuts that down, because I don't know, I feel like as someone who has like worked in education before, I feel like as someone who is older, and would like to have kids in the future. I don't want to see a story anymore about teenage girls pining after like truly adult men. And the actor that they played to play the teacher, like he is truly like older in age and whatnot. So for me, like just like the visuals of looking at that was just like, ooh. I mean, sorry, that was such a big reaction, but like I just feel like, first of all, teacher-student relationship, such a power imbalance. And then the age gap with this was so big. And, like, even though I'm glad that they, like, shut it down, like, it didn't go any further than that. And the teacher did great in that aspect. And I respect that. I just felt like there was no need for that to be included in the drama. Like, I was just like, no, why is this here? And then still talking about that teacher kind of knows like something is happening between these two students, and he is the one that's accepting of it, where later on there is a student teacher that joins the class, and he is kind of slightly like about it, and it was kind of nice to see a drama in where like the older generation is accepting. So those are just a little like few things. But yeah, so like I said, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. And honestly, now that I've gone through like my binge watching, I feel like this, I probably rated it a bit high in comparison to like what I watched later on, because I've watched some like really good stuff later. But yeah, there's that. After I finished watching My Love Mix-Up, I was talking about it with a friend, and my friend was actually recommending me to watch Osan's Love, which is also another Japanese BL drama. I tried finding it, but I couldn't find it. However, I was led to Cherry Magic instead. So I actually saw the trailer for the movie, because the movie is coming out in April. And I didn't realize it at that time. So I was like, oh, this is just a movie. I can like finish it real quick. And I don't know why a lot of these like BL series, they actually have very little episodes. So like I said, Addicted obviously got cut short, was only 15. And then My Love Mix-Up, I think, was only just 10. And then so I think this one, Cherry Magic. So what was I saying? So there's a movie, yes, but the movie is a sequel. And the series came out in 2020. So for all the people who got to watch it in 2020 and like gave them some like positivity during the pandemic, like y'all watched it at a great time, because now it's coming back. Yes, so with Cherry Magic, it's 12 episodes, and Cherry Magic, it's so cute. Oh my god. The Japanese title is really long, so I'm not even gonna try to say it in case I say it incorrectly. But let me give you a quick synopsis. So we have Adachi, who is about to turn 30. And there's this, I guess, rumor that like if you are turning 30 and you're still a virgin, you develop magical powers. So when Adachi turns 30, he like can hear people's thoughts upon like some like touch of skinship, whether that just be like, you know, I don't know what I was doing, sorry. But yeah, so if he like touches someone, whether it's just like bumping or like he can hear their thoughts. And so one day he actually hears the thoughts of his coworker. His coworker's name is Kurosawa. And what he hears from Kurosawa is that Kurosawa actually has a crush on Adachi. And Kurosawa is like the shining star of the company. He's like the ace salaryman or salesperson, sorry. And he's like super gentleman, super nice, super kind, and just a very diligent worker. Whereas Adachi is like, he's good at his job, but he's also a little bit like spacey and airhead. And like there's a senpai that kind of takes advantage of him and gives him extra work. And I think one thing that just really worked for this was the casting. Like the person who plays like the kind, diligent worker looks like a kind, bright, diligent worker. I'm like bright, like personality bright. And then the one who's like a bit like spacey and airheady, like he has that vibe. And the way that Adachi like shows like he's kind of like shocked or like surprised, and he goes like eh? You know, like just like his little like movements, like it's so cute, so freaking adorable, like just like it's so endearing. So like I was saying, like this, like the casting was just spot on, right? And then the chemistry, very good. Like it, just like the way that they look at each other, you're just like, oh. And then the side characters were really, really well done as well, or well casted as well. So we have Fujisaki. Is she Fujisaki? Yes, Fujisaki. She's super cute, and she like has I don't know if that's a spoiler. I'll keep it to myself. But she's very supportive of the couple, and she does something towards the end to like help the relationship, and it's like, oh, I don't know, she's just so precious, and I wish that she will find love. And then I mentioned that there's like a senpai at work that like gives Adachi like extra work, but there's like a moment where like he redeems himself to show that he's actually a nice person as well. So you're just like, oh my god, everyone is just so kind, so supportive. And then there's like, I guess the newcomer, the new person on the job, Rokkaku, and he is like the comic relief character, and he does a great job being like the comic relief character. He's like their kind of like adopted son in the relationship, and it's just so entertaining. There's also a secondary pair, which is Adachi's best friend, and he also develops the same power as Adachi, and he starts like developing feelings for like the delivery guy that comes to his apartment all the time, and they have a very interesting relationship. I would say like I wasn't a huge fan of the secondary couple, but they had a good arc. The secondary pairing, Tsuge and Minato, yeah, they did a good job of introducing them, of explaining them, and giving them ample time. Just I didn't really fall for them, which is fine, not a big deal there. The only thing I would have wanted more from Cherry Magic is like, could we have not gotten like a kiss? Like seriously, could we get one? Is it gonna happen in the movie? Anyways, I'm super excited for the movie. I'm kind of glad that like I got to watch the series right before like the sequel. I felt like this was such like amazing timing. Like how did this happen that I would stumble upon this in like mid-March, and then the movie's gonna come out early April? I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna gain access to it, but I will find it. And yeah, like mainly I think what really worked is just like this drama had an amazing cast of supportive characters, and the main pairing, or the main two leads, were casted really well. They are their characters, and you just really fall for them. Kurosawa comes off as bright, warm, and gentle, and Adachi just has that adorable quality to him that he really just rocks. And yeah, loved it. So I ended up giving this a 4.75 out of 5. Next is another Japanese one. So how I found this one was, before I write my reviews, I usually search up the drama on Google so I can like correctly write the character names or like the actor names and stuff like that for the review that I write. And sometimes Google has like a portion where they show like, I guess like related or similar, like kind of like recommendations, and this drama showed up there, and the poster was just really captivating, and I was like, ooh, that's stunning, and it kind of gave off like darkish vibes, and I was like, I'm intrigued. So I decided to search for it, and I found it. I watched it, and it's called, what is it called?美しい彼, and the English name is My Beautiful Man. This came out in 2021, which is the same year that My Love Mix-Up came out. So I just feel like it is like Japan just on a roll with these kind of shows. This one was really short. It's only 6 episodes. So I'm glad that it only has 6 episodes, because when I first started watching it, I was not feeling it. Like I was not into it at all. And I truly thought like, maybe my streak has ended. Maybe it's because I'm like those type of people who my dad likes to call like sanfunzongito, jack of all trades, master of none, in a way. but what happens is like I will get really into something and I would just consume it only. Like when I was really into like Words with Friends, like I would just play Words with Friends until I would get bored of it, or I would play Tetris until I would get bored of it. And that's how I am with like certain genres. So like either like I'm really into like romance and I'll only watch romance until I get bored of it, or like I'm really into like reading right now and reading just this specific like I don't know, like nonfiction, and I'll just only do that, you know. So I just felt like, oh, okay, like maybe my like BL like consuming like days are coming to an end, and then I just need to take a break and like consume something else, and like I'll go back to it like eventually or something, whatnot. But I like checked and it only had 6 episodes, so I was like, you know what, 6 episodes, let's just sit through this. And I actually did finish it in one day, because I was working remote that day. And when I work remote, I like have something playing while like I'm typing away. So yeah, so I did finish it, and I'm glad that I finished it because it does pick up towards the end. But I will have to say, like, of the ones that I've watched, this is probably my least favorite, but I didn't dislike it. I haven't given you a synopsis yet, so let me do that first. So I feel like I wrote a really nice synopsis on the review that I wrote. So I'm just going to read that to you. So Invisible Hida is perfectly fine going through his high school days unnoticed. He has a stutter and prefers to see the world behind his camera lens. On the first day of the new school year, Kioi walks in late and takes Hida's breath away. Hida knows that Kioi is too beautiful and popular for him to ever reach, so he is just content with trailing behind Kioi like a servant. So yes, what did I not like about it at first? At first, I was really turned off by how intensely Kioi kind of bullied Hida and let other people like let his group of friends kind of step on him and order him around. I was like, ugh, why? And then Hida just kind of took it. He like really took it, and he was like, it's okay, I'm in love with this man, I'll just do whatever he says. And the thing is that like later on you learn that Kioi doesn't know how to like express the emotion of love well, and that's why he did it in such a way, negative way. But Hida never knows this, right? So all he knows is like this guy is just kind of bullying him, kind of teasing him, kind of order him around. But and then you just kind of think, well, Hida, what do you like about this guy besides the fact that he's beautiful? Like, this is just really shallow at this point, right? So I was just like kind of watching this like, do they really like each other? Do they really like each other? Do I really support this? That's why I was like, oh, should I just turn this off? Like, I don't think this is for me. And I think what changes is, so they graduate high school, Hida goes on to college, and Kioi decides to pursue acting. And I think he acts in like a small little like theater cafe kind of thing, and they cross paths after not having met, and the narration changes, and then you get to hear Kioi tell his side of the story, and that's when things really shifted for me. That's when I felt like, oh, okay, I'm on board with this now. Like, this is really like, what? Like, I'm so shocked that I'm on board with this. And then the thing is that like Hida in college, he joins like the photography club, and he meets someone there, and this someone develops feelings for him, and Hida is like very gentle in like letting this guy down. And I really, really appreciated that he did not drag this poor man around. He was very clear to like kind of cut off like ties with him, even though he was the friend dude was like, it's okay, we could just be friends, we can like go back to the way things were before like my feelings were expressed and whatnot. And he was like, I may be a fool, but like I know that it will hurt. And I just remember reading that and being like, oh wow, that hurt. But at the same time, like, good job, Hida, good job, I respect you. So their like kind of parting ways and goodbye was done really well, and I just felt the emotion, right? And then there was like another moment that really got to me emotionally, and it's like towards the end, there's this like confession scene, and there's this moment where Kioi tells Hira that he's not a god. And the way he expresses it is kind of in a way where he's like, can you just like love me for me and stop loving me for all these projected high like images and expectations that you've created. And you know how there's that like TikTok video that's like, what are two scenes that give off the same vibe? This moment that happened, I immediately thought of that iconic line or scene from Notting Hill where Julia Roberts is like, oh man, what's the exact, like, it's something like, I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy asking him to love me. Give me a second, let me search it up. Okay, so it's, I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. And I was just like, oh my god, like, is that not the same vibe? And Notting Hill is like one of my like favorite like romance movies. Enjoy it a lot. So like I said, like initially I was not like invested in this couple. I didn't like them, I didn't care for them, I didn't understand their feelings for each other. But then later on, like I would say maybe like the last 2-3 episodes, and this is really short, so like but yeah, so later on, when we shift and get Kyoi's perspective, I was just kind of like really mind blown by how emotional it got and how heart-wrenching it became. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm here for this now. Like, I am emotionally invested. But that reminds me, because I just looked at my written review and I can't believe I like totally forgot about this, but one of the reasons why I was like kind of really turned off by this is that there's a moment in the show where some of their fake friends are making fun of Kioi at a diner, and Hira kind of wishes for like a machine gun to like shoot them up. And you know, obviously it's just a dream sequence, and then there's actually no blood. It's like replaced with confetti. But I think, like, as an American, maybe, possibly, I am very traumatized by gun violence, and I was not on board with letting a teenager have a machine gun to shoot up people at a diner. Like, that was not cool. And then there's another moment where Kioi is getting bullied at school, and Hira decides to take action, and in his shadow, he's, like, walking with like a machine gun. I'm like, no, 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 no school shooting, no school shooting. And honestly, he doesn't actually have a gun. And later on, we just learned that he just kind of manically like attacks the aggressor. And I think there is like a line where Kioi like explains what happens and then describes him as like a religious fanatic. And I remember reading that subtitled and being like, oh my god, that is like the best metaphor to describe Hira. Like, spot on. Spot on. So I just feel like on a personal level, like this is just a totally me thing and not anybody else's thing. Like, those like particular scenes made me very uncomfortable, and I couldn't fully enjoy the drama due to that. And like I said, this is totally me bringing in personal feelings, but I feel like, you know, like I said, this is how I want to rate things, this is how like I see things, so even though it's like a personal thing, I just felt like I truly couldn't enjoy the show because of that. And then in addition, like I said, in the start, I didn't understand the couple. And I did understand them later, but I felt like the journey to get to understanding them and like developing like love and care and support for this like couple, like that journey was not fun. like it just wasn't a good process to get to the part that was like good. You get me in a way? Oh, man, I feel like I'm like explaining so much and like getting nowhere in my explanation. But yeah, so like later on there's like that impact, right? And that impact is great, but getting to that impact, I didn't enjoy it. So this is like my least favorite of this like Asian BL drama watching streak, and I still gave it like a highish rating, because I do think it leaves an impact, and I can see why the people who like this, but like I said, like the start and then the uncomfortableness with all the like shooting, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, and it's still like a high rating because I can see what this was trying to go for. It just, I didn't enjoy it as much as all the other stuff that I watched. After having finished美しい彼, My Beautiful Man, I just felt like maybe it's over for me. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's time for me to move on and be all consumed by another like genre. But then YouTube comes out of nowhere because now my algorithm is all like BL content, and shows me a clip of the two leads from Semantic Error interacting with each other during an interview, and I'm like, what? The visuals for this are way too high, and even like the interview during like their chemistry is top notch. I need to watch this. So I thought I was gonna stop, but then Semantic Error came out of nowhere, and this is actually a fairly new release. It came out in, I think, 2022, so this year, and let me tell you, Semantic Error, highly recommend. It's getting a ton of positive reviews right now, and I can see why. So a quick synopsis: we have younger college student Sang-woo, who is placed in a group project, and the people in his group project do not participate. So he removes their name and is very upfront during the presentation that he's the only one doing this. The other group members had no, like, didn't help at all. And this causes his group member, Jaeyoung, to fail the class and delays his graduation. So now Jaeyoung is hell-bent on finding Sang-woo and kind of, well, once they meet, he kind of goes on this spree of like, let me like tease and poke fun of him and bother him, and like, you know, he becomes very like in and around like Sang-woo's day because he like is in all his same classes and all this other stuff. So there's like just this really cute like bickering like back and forth banter between the two of them initially, and then from there it develops into like, oh, now that you're not like around to like poke fun or annoy me, I kind of miss you. So we have that, right? A little bit like enemies to lovers, but also there it's like this whole like opposites attract kind of thing. So the older one, Jaeyoung, he is like super stylish. He's like a design major, so he's into like art, and he's like friendly, cool. And then Sang-woo is like, I think, like programmer, computer science, something along those lines, and he's like just kind of a little bit like quiet, chill, shy, could be considered like a little standoffish, doesn't really care to like make friends, and honestly, like, as someone, like I said, who has like been consuming like yaoi and BL for many years, and like who is recently on this like BL Asian drama watching Shriek, this story doesn't add anything like new to the realm, or like, you know, there's no like surprises or shocks or anything like that. But the chemistry, and then it's not just that too, the casting, okay? The older stylish one has that look, like, oh my god, the visuals, like the actor for Jaeyoung, I think his name was Park So-ham, he is so good looking, and he literally rocks every single look. Beanie, no beanie, cap, oh my god, like, he's so handsome. And what really like upsets me is that like I was introduced to him through this drama. Like, this is my first time seeing both these two leads, and then I found out right after doing Semantic Error he like enlists in the military, and you're just like, what, why, no. So yeah, there's a lot of feelings there. So going back, chemistry, A+. Height difference, icing on the cake. And there is a fair, decent handful amount of kissing, and you're just like, thank you, because the other Japanese dramas, not so much My Beautiful Man, but like My Love Mix-Up and Cherry Magic, did not deliver on that aspect. It's like, dude, if you guys are like adults in love, especially with Cherry Magic, like how would you not, like, okay, whatever, you know? But yeah, so there's kissing, and Jaeyoung, like, he's like a pretty fairly good kisser according to the scenes that you watch, and you're just like, oh yeah. So like, if the sizzling chemistry doesn't kill you, the top visuals might kill you, but like, if you want to look at tropes, it has all the ones that are like my personal favorites: opposites attract, enemies to lover. And the thing is that, like, my favorite leads are always like the brooding, quiet, misunderstood, known kind of as unfriendly type. There's just something about it where it's like the guy comes off as, I don't like anybody, and I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to be friendly to anybody, but then there's you, and you're just like, oh my god. I feel like this is like there's like a lot of Asian dramas that have that kind of character. I would think like the first one that comes to mind would probably be like the character from Devil Beside You, but the one that I always reference in like Western media is like that Chuck Bassness from like Gossip Girl, like, you know, mean to everyone, just be affectionate to only you, like. So yeah, like it has some good like bantering, bickering, and like fun pranks. So even though I feel like this wasn't, like, plot wise wasn't anything special in a way, it just did what it was supposed to do well. My only like small true complaint about this drama is that when I got to the 8th episode, it didn't feel like the finale. I felt like the ending was a little bit rushed. The way the whole like study abroad thing was kind of resolved was very quick. Like, it felt hasty, and I just felt like it could have taken a little bit more time, given itself more episodes. But that's my only like true small complaint about Semantic Error. Oh, before I end this, because I also wrote this down on my written review, the actress for Che Yuna, she is sexy. Girl can get it. And I hope girl gets a lead role, because she was pretty amazing in this as well. Like I said, there was just something about this couple, something about their chemistry, something about their attraction that just leaves you yearning for more. And then like you watch their interviews and you're just like, oh my god, so freaking precious. Why did he have to enlist in the military? And I do want to give this a 5, but then I have to like look back and remember that I watch Addicted, and when it comes to like Addicted and Semantic Error, I think like Semantic Error deserves the 5 as well. But if I was like compare the two of them, I think like Addicted just like hit me a lot harder, and I still remember it even though it was like the first of the things that I watched in this entire like shriek roll. So I think because of that, even though Semantic Error is like a 5 in this way, because I like to like tier rank things, I would have to drop Semantic Error a little bit to 4.9 out of 5. So it's like technically a 5. So that's it. Those are all the BL Asian drama series that I've recently binge watched, and I literally did binge watch them. The day that I finished watching My Beautiful Man, I actually finished my Semantic Error the same day. So yeah, I would say like what Addicted I could have finished in a day, but I waited for 2. Cherry Magic, I took 2 days. I think. Yeah, I took 2 days. And then My Love Mix-Up 1 day, Beautiful Man 1 day, Semantic Error the same day. So yeah, so those are all the stuff like I recently just inhaled. And moving forward, I will definitely pick up the web novel for Addicted, and will attempt to read it in Chinese. I have started, but I haven't gotten really far into it. And also, I did see that the author for Addicted also has another story. I think the English title is Advance Bravely, and that was also turned into a drama. I can't really find it online right now, but if I do, that will probably be something I will watch next just because of my feelings for Addicted. And I think that'll be it. That'll be it. And then I'll probably like get into something else. Most likely the second season of Bridgerton. I'm super excited for that. So outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye!